Today I will show you what is one of the greatest queen sacrifices ever. What makes this sacrifice so impressive is that it was a positional queen sacrifice, meaning there was no immediate win but instead a long-term advantage. The game was played by the chess legend, Rashid Neshmadinov. Neshmadinov was playing as white and his opponent, Oleg Chernikov, played as black. E4, C5, the Sicilian defense, knight f3, knight c6, d4, c takes d4, and white recaptures. This is all very standard Sicilian theory, g6, knight c3, bishop g7, and bishop e3. This position looks very boring and dull, but the queen sacrifice actually happens in only 6 moves from here. Knight f6, bishop c4, castles, and here Neshmadinov moves his bishop back, making it more secure. Black plays knight g4, this doesn't actually blunder the knight because when white takes, it loses a defender of d4 so black takes the knight. Now, white plays queen h4, shifting it more to the king side for a potential attack. Queen a5, then castles. Black plays bishop f6, and it doesn't look too good for white. If you go here, then black just moves the bishop back and nothing has changed. If you go to f4 or g3 then black can sacrifice the queen and then fork your king and queen. Although material is equal, white is worse due to the bad pawn structure. If you go to g4 or h3 then black can attack your queen and it has to go back, the position is about equal. Any normal player either goes for this line or goes for the draw by repeating moves, but Neshmadinov was not normal, and in this position he played queen captures f6. Chernikov was obviously shocked when he saw this move. He saw that his knight was going to be captured if he took back, so first he checks, forcing Neshmadinov's knight back, and only then he captures. White has sacrificed a queen for 2 minor pieces. Normally this is not a good thing but Neshmadinov doesn't care about that. He plays knight to c3, rook e8, and knight d5. Rook e6, bishop d4, king g7, and rook d1. Black tries to get his bishop developed with d6, white plays rook d3, and now black moves the bishop. White adds further pressure to f6 with rook f3, and now black cannot properly defend the pawn, and when the pawn falls, the black king will be in a lot of danger. Black attacks white's rook, white attacks the queen moves and now knight takes f6 is played. Bishop e2, and knight captures h7 check. If black takes then he loses the rook for nothing, so he instead runs away. White brings his rook to h3, preparing an attack on the h-file. Black is desperate so he sacrifices the rook to get rid of the bishop, but Neshmadinov doesn't even take it, instead he plays pawn f4, trying to take it with the pawn instead. Black takes the rook, white takes back, and black attacks the bishop. Neshmadinov knows that Chernikov would very much like to trade off the very powerful bishop for the inactive rook, so he saves it. b5 is played. Honestly I'm not sure why this was played. White attacks f7, black defends, white takes anyways because when black takes, Neshmadinov can sacrifice the rook. After black takes, white can take the rook, which forks the king and queen, and after all that violence, black can save the rook which somehow survived all that, and we end up in a winning endgame for Neshmadinov. Black gives a check, white moves, and here Chernikov decided to resign. And this is how Neshmadinov played one of the greatest queen sacrifices ever. Positional sacrifices on their own are impressive, and so are queen sacrifices, and so a positional queen sacrifice is something only players like Neshmadinov would ever consider playing.